Hey there everybody, welcome to the Prog Monster, or maybe you'd rather call it the Purple Room, I'm not sure, one of those two. Anyways, we're here, I am the host of the show. We're dedicated to progressive rock and other forms of rock music. We're today talking about day 20 of the series that we're doing for the month of July, called Those Great Bands with Two or More Lead Vocalists. On this occasion, the band has 3 lead vocalists. And for those of you who have been following it, you know that what I'm doing is I'm picking these bands. The lead vocalists have to be fairly prominent. They can't be just doing one song every 4 or 5 albums or something. They've got to be fairly comparable to the lead guy. Usually there's one dominant lead guy and then a couple of other guys who do lead on occasion. So in this case, there's 3 guys. The brothers for this band, Gentle Giant. I like this album cover, that's why I chose it as my prop. So the brothers Phil and Derek Showman, and the keyboardist, multi-instrumentalist Kerry Minier. So for those of you who follow this band, you know that Derek is kind of the main guy. He's got the more outspoken, dominant voice. Actually, he's quite strong live. I find him quite strong live. Not as much so on the albums. Phil maybe a little bit less than him. And then you have Kerry Minier, who does do some live, like some lead vocals on some of their albums, but his voice is a bit thinner and a bit more shallow, and so consequently, when they do live shows, usually he doesn't do the singing of that. Either Derek or Phil did early on. But then Phil left the band after, I believe, Octopus. I think Octopus was his last album. And Derek pretty much took over the lead vocals role. But up until that point, this band was 3 lead vocalists. All good, too. I like all their voices. Kerry's voice is a bit weak, but I still don't mind it. Actually, his voice was probably the reason why I took so long to get into Gentle Giant, because he had such a weak voice that I thought their vocals weren't good. That's what I heard, but after you start listening to it for a while, you begin to realize that that's an erroneous kind of concept about what you're judging them on. But when I bought the first album by them, which was 3 Friends, for me was the first album I owned by them. I was I'm gonna say I was maybe 19 or 20 at the time, and actually prone to real judgmentality on stuff. I would hear something once. If I liked it, I would pursue it. If I didn't like it, it didn't get a second chance. That's the way it was. I realize that now. It's kind of a stupid way to be, but when I was 20, I didn't realize that at all. So this band took a long back seat, but here we are all these years later. They're now one of my favorites. I really do like their vocals quite a bit, especially their harmonies. Their harmonies are very good, excellent harmonies, and they fit very well with their massive instrumentation. They are one of the multi-instrumentalist bands of all time. But the lead vocals by Derek Showman, awesome, strong, really strong projecting voice. He's got a strong stage presence. I think he's the consummate kind of leadership type guy that you want in your band. Phil was a very good lead vocalist as well. Very similar sounding, I think, to Derek, at least in my hearing. Maybe I'm not hearing him right, but that's the way I hear him. And then you had Kerry Minier, who's a little bit less than both of them, more back. So he was okay when they made the studio albums because they could project his voice a little more on the studio, but when they went live, he just didn't seem to have this stage presence for that kind of a voice. So his lead vocals were taken over by usually Derek, but sometimes Phil as well. And then Phil left the band after Octopus, so of course they were just with Kerry and Derek. But I think Derek pretty much at that point started dominating and singing almost everything. So, but up until that point, they were a multi-lead vocalist band, and a good one too. So there you have it. Today's great band with 2 or more lead vocalists, Gentle Giant. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like and subscribe. It's much appreciated. And we'll be back on day 19, now getting down into the top, below the top 20. In some bands are getting more and more to my liking. Not that I didn't like the first 10 or 11, I did, but the next ones are like more getting into the great bands now. So anyways, I hope you, like I said, I hope you enjoyed. So please like and subscribe. Make your own comments. Do you like Gentle Giant's vocal leads, or do you just prefer their instrumentation and their harmonies? Let me know. I'd be interested in that. So take care. We will see you again tomorrow with another video from this series. Take care. Bye.